Hey guys, here's a list of all the tools you'll need to re-gear your diff. Basic tools, you'll need 12 millimeter 12 point sockets for your drive shaft bolts and your CV axle bolts. You'll need your pinion nut socket, which is going to be a 1 and 1/16 inch or 1 and an eighth inch. You need a massive cheetah bar to crush the pinion crush sleeve. Um, what else we got here? Stone cylinder hone. That's for making a setup bearing. You got some more measuring tools here. Dial indicator for setting your backlash. You got an inch-pound torque wrench for setting your rolling torque, and a recipe there for making your own gear marking compound. It works really well, and it's a lot cheaper than buying it. The shim installation tool you don't really need. You could just use a piece of wood or a mallet, but obviously the tool's a little better to have. Parts list. New diff gears, new ring gear bolts. You're going to use the old ring gear bolts to make into setup studs. New pinion nut, you're supposed to replace that. New carrier bearings, you should replace those too. Pinion bearings, definitely. You should replace your wheel bearings while you have everything apart. Pinion setup bearings, inner and outer bearings. There's two setup bearings you're going to have to get. Shims for the pinion and for the carrier. Crush sleeves, you want pretty much a handful of them in case you mess up a couple. And oil seals, of course. If you're doing a rear Ford 8.8 differential, there's going to be C-clips to remove your axle shafts. On the Ford 8.8 front differentials, there is a snap ring that holds in the driver's side axle shaft. Mine was broken and grinded into nothing, so I was able to pull it out. You can see it's not there. The passenger side half shaft there, I believe it's held in with another snap ring. I can't remember though. It might just be held in by the spider gear shaft. You'll see once you're in there. I can't remember. Been a while since I last had it apart. There are arrows to help you keep your bearing cap orientation proper. I also marked mine with a paint pen, left hand side and right hand side, so you don't get them mixed up and they go back on the exact same way that they came off. Look at this guy. Who's been there before? You got no power tools or impact. Everything's hand tools. You're outside. You got no shop. You're fighting the good weather and the bad weather, and you're still getting shit done. It drives you a little crazy, but that's why it's called Happy Fun Time. Tappy tap, just a little tappy tap. Ooh, look, big chunk of metal. Ooh, carrier big. Ooh, ring gear. Ooh, sharp and shiny. Oh, there goes the garbage. Gone forever. Oh well. 355 gear? Half the size of this 488 gear. Way beefier. Here's a quick picture of my setup studs. In this picture, I already have the ring gear pressed onto the carrier assembly. Um, you can see my 4 setup studs there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I did was I cut off the bolt head to make the stud, and then I cut a taper into that stud so that the carrier assembly will line up really nicely with all the bolt holes and there won't be any errors. And then I also cut a small slot in the stud so that they can be installed with a flathead screwdriver and removed when you're done. Okay. Ding. Dinner's ready. It's a ring gear. Wow, so delicious. That goes there. I probably could have just thrown it in the press, but apparently I wanted to try doing it the fun way first and see if I would hit the bearing. No, I really just wanted to see how well that way would work. Does help kind of get it lined up. Yeah, there's a lot of power in the press. I trust it a lot more than just snugging up the bolts tight. I can see that it did press it uh, closer together, so glad that I went with the press. Takes however long it takes, man. If you're in a rush, chances are you'll probably end up messing something up. Better take the time and do it right. Yeah. Okay, pause for a second. This is probably the best time for me to explain the fastest way to get this done. Here's the few steps that you're going to want to take to get your differential adjusted as quickly and painless as possible. Once you are certain that step 3 has been completed and you're confident and you know that it is what it should be, only then move on to step 4. That pretty much sums it up. Now back on to where I left off here. Here's the procedure for checking diff runout. So this right here, this is the part that's going to take you the longest amount of time, is getting your backlash proper. And after you get a good backlash, you got to get your contact pattern proper too. Here's some specs and procedure for you to help figure out how to get your backlash correct and how to get a good contact pattern. Here's the definitions here of the different parts of the ring gear. There's an ideal contact pattern. You want it perfectly centered. You want some space on the edges, and you want some space between the top and bottom. Yeah, here's some more things here for if it goes wrong, and then what to do about it. So really anything you'd need really to be able to get the pattern you want, it's all in that information there. So yeah, you get your backlash right. When you finally get your backlash good and your contact pattern, then you're going to add some bearing preload where you add shims to each side of the carrier. So it's 0.006 on each side. There's a picture that shows it. When you're installing your carrier assembly with the preload, it definitely does help to tap with a mallet or a stick or whatever on the bearings to get the carrier to roll up into place. Some more images here, courtesy of the Google machine. .008 is what Ford recommends, and that's what you should go with. It'll end eventually, normal wear and tear, you'll end up getting to .012 anyway. So start at the tighter end of things. I put mine to .007. With a manual transmission, I really like it to be a little more tighter. Chevys have tighter tolerances in their diffs even still, and I don't know why Ford has their tolerances so loose, but that's what they call for. 3 days in, sun shining, got a nice contact pattern. on the drive side and on the coast side. That was with preload and with the crush sleeve in there, and the rolling torque set with the crush sleeve. So now it's ready for the new bearing to go on the pinion. Hey guys, so what we got here is bearing stuff and easy bake oven. See that? I'm the Ninja Turtle of differentials, but my identity must be kept a secret. For the town needs a hero in this desolate wasteland. Like exactly within literal perfect spec. Patterns. Okay, guys, take a look at this. Here's the coast side contact pattern. Oh, shaky camera. Yep, shaky camera work. Yeah, there's the coast side contact pattern. It's looking really good. And the final drive side contact pattern. Took a lot of adjustment, but I got it all exactly the way it should be. And that is the only way to do it. If you made it this far, congratulations. You did it. Yay. Wow. That easy. Blah blah blah. Takes forever. 3 days of happy fun time.